it's always good to be back home.
Love playing at home.
To just hear the excitement and the buzz that people have in the city and throughout Canada, it's going to be pretty special.
They love to play at home, and it is going to be pretty special tonight. Home opener, the team, the city, the country really still buzzing from last season and that AL East championship. The fire we expect fully carrying over tonight as the Jays host the Red Sox in their first home series. Sold out. Well, who better to talk about what's going to come ahead in the season for us than Buck Martinez, former player, manager, now broadcaster and author. We'll talk about all of that. Thanks for giving me some time, Buck.
Good
it's
morning,
great to
Heather.
see you.
Good to see you.
On the morning of the home opener.
Yeah, it's a special day.
It is. Tell me what you're expecting for tonight in that Rogers Center.
Well, I think it's going to be the same atmosphere we saw in October, and everybody remembers the great series against Texas and then Kansas City, and Marco Estrada's a great game, and I think everybody's going to feel like it's a playoff game once again, and that's a great way to start the season. The ball players are fired up. They're very focused. They're not giddy about their team, but they understand they've got some unfinished business.
Yeah, they were really, everyone, that was sort of the, is that going to be their motto for the season? Because everyone I was speaking to yesterday when I attended the workout session, they kept saying that same thing. We know the job ahead. It's unfinished business over and over.
They're having a blast doing
that.
And,
okay.
and you know, they're very professional. And, you know, everybody remembers the bat flip. And
Sure.
if you were at the ballpark, I think everybody wanted to flip the bat at that point. But it's that type of team. And, you know, Jose with a historic home run. But this team, they're like brothers. And that's what you need in this day and age in professional sports, because the money sometimes can take you off course. You forget about what we're here for, and it's professional sports, and you're here to win championships, and I think this team has what it takes.
When you talk about the chemistry, because I know you write about that in your new book, but, you know, it's interesting, we were wondering, mulling over, it's a chicken and egg situation. Is it the chemistry that leads to winning, or is it the winning that leads to better chemistry? That's
always been the age-old question, and which comes first, success or winning and confidence. But I think the chemistry was a missing link here for a long time. And then Alex Anthopoulos brought in Donaldson and Martin, and that started the process. Okay. And then Tulowitzki and Price and Lowe and Revere, they all came in and added to that chemistry, and now they understand what the formula is, so it's not going to change. You've got multiple leaders on this team, and Jose and Edwin, and then you've got Martin and Tulowitzki, and from the pitching side of things, you've got Stroman, a young leader who's going to start the game tonight. I think it's a terrific mix.
I want to talk about him because I watched him yesterday, so loose, you know, I mean, seemingly, I mean, maybe it's a ruse, but I don't think so. He loves the big moment. What are you expecting from him this season?
I think he's going to be very, very under control. Obviously, he's a very emotional guy, and a lot of the antics you're going to see from him are to keep himself focused. He has gone through a tremendous rehab process because of his knee injury last year. And he went through special training, physical and mental training, and he understands that there are certain things you have to do during the course of a game to keep yourself in focus. He does that. You'll see him tapping his chest. You'll see him talking to himself. He'll counter-rotate to his delivery. A lot of things he's going to do on the mound are all by design, and he is in the moment. This kid is a great leader. You see these types of personalities maybe once or twice in a lifetime on a team, and he's one of those guys that makes everybody around him better.
Isn't that terrific? Okay, he gets the ball again tonight, so we will watch. You mentioned Donaldson in passing. Just quickly, any intel as to, he had the calf injury, is he going to be back in the lineup? But John Gibbons said he was optimistic. We don't know yet.
It'll be tough to keep him out of the lineup, but I think game 4 or 5 of the season, you'd be very careful. And back on the turf again, I think they're going to make sure he's okay, because you don't want to risk the possibility of him going on a DL so early in the season. Okay. I would say it's probably 60-40 that he'll be in the lineup.
When you bring up the question of injury, let's talk about the slide, and we're going to show that. From the first series, here we are, this new rule, the Chase Utley rule, to get rid of the, the risk to the infield of the second baseman of the double play. Here it is, Bautista. I listened to him yesterday. He still maintains it was a fair slide. What do you think? You give us the final word on whether or not this rule's going to work as they intended.
Everything was good except his left arm hooking the leg of Forsythe. And the problem I have with this whole situation, the team on the field, Tampa Bay had no idea about this hand being hooked of Forsythe's leg. Forsythe himself walked back to the outfield with his head hung, thinking he had just cost them the game. They got a phone call from their video room. I believe that they should address that and say, if you think on the field that you need to have a replay, then you go ahead and judge it. But you shouldn't have an outside person sitting there watching the monitor, breaking everything down frame by frame. If you think that it's bad on the field, go ahead and call it. But I don't think you should have a link to someone inside watching a monitor.
So do you think that's a modification they may make?
Well, I don't know.
Not sure.
I would like to talk to them about that because I think that's one thing. On the field, I can understand it, but I don't think you should have the ability. It's like a golf tournament. If a fan's watching 1,000 miles away and said, hey, he just moved his ball, I don't think that's in the context of the game itself.
Okay. So if the aim is to take the, to boost the safety of the second baseman or the infielder, I want to show some, how many times you've seen this. I know, 1985, when you got the crash, you got the Bradley crash and the broken leg and the dislocated ankle and all of that ensued. They've protected the catcher now. Obviously this rule is to protect the infield. Oh, it's hard to see that, isn't it? Still.
No, not at all. But it's interesting because that's the same play basically. Buster Posey was hit in San Francisco and they changed the rule. They didn't change the rule when Buck Martinez broke his leg.
But they did with Buster Posey. So they're trying to make sure it's the same safe situation.
Yeah.
But then, as John Gibbons has said, it's the balance. It's the the tradition, the machismo. I mean, you want to take the guy out for a double play, or do you want to protect the player? Where do you fall on whether the balance has been kept or whether it's too much one way?
I think we've overreacted here.
So?
We had 2 players injured last year in the Chase Utley slide, and then the third baseman, Gung from the Pittsburgh Pirates, got hurt as well, playing out of position. But the game is about aggressiveness, about taking the guy out. Last thing a runner at first hears is, hey, make sure you get down to second base and break up 2. I think we're robbing the fans of that part of the game. The same at the home plate. The catchers don't know how to handle a play yet. I think they should go back and address it. And, we lost 1 player to an injury over the course of how many years, and I think that they've probably softened it up a little bit too much.
That's really interesting. I'm not even conscious of time. I could just keep on talking to you forever, but I have to let you go because you got work to do to get ready for tonight. Before you do, dark horses, who do we watch for? Kevin Pillar really was the guy who emerged last year in my mind. What do you think? Who should we pay attention to?
Kevin Pillar, I think, is going to be a star.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he's playing in his first day. This catch he made in Tampa Bay was incredible. It saved the game at that point because that was the leadoff hitter in that inning. Brett Cecil retires the side in order. He's done this time and time again. A terrific player that plays with no fear. And he understands. He was a 32nd round draft pick. Everybody in his whole life has told him he can't play, and he's proving them wrong. I think he's going to be an all-star at one point. And Aaron Sanchez. I think Aaron Sanchez is going to be terrific.
He may vie with Stroman for the pitching star.
He and Stroman are best friends, and they worked out all winter long in Duke, and he beefed up his body. He's a lot stronger than he was last year. He had a great first start. I think he's going to have a phenomenal first season as a starter. He's a terrific kid. And the good thing about Aaron Sanchez, he was born on Canada Day.
Yay. Well, the whole of Canada is watching what happens this season. Always fun to listen to you and to watch you on your broadcast. Have a great season, Buck. Thank you for the time today. And again, the book available now. It's called Change Up, exactly. How to Make the Great Game Better by Buck Martinez, adding to a very long and distinguished career. Thanks for the time today,
My pleasure.
Buck.